So when I was planning this video, it was very tempting to just compare it to the Apple Studio monitor. But I didn't want to do that because I feel like I do still want to earn the trust of, people watching. I didn't want it to be like a clickbaity title. And I think that it's a good enough monitor to stand on its own and not be that. There will be some things in this video that I will compare to the Apple Studio monitor, but I think that they'll be fair comparisons. It won't be anything clickbaity or anything like that. And as always, I'm not trying to convince you guys to buy anything. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Samsung VIEWFINITY S9. Before we get into this monitor back here, this 5K monitor, I think it's important to talk about how we got here. So way back in 2018, when I first started editing photos, the computer that I was using was this Xiaomi Mi laptop or something like that. I forget what the name of it is. Had it imported from China. The thing about it though is that it has a 1080p screen. And so when I was just editing videos and I wasn't doing any video work, this laptop served me well. But as I got into, making wedding videos and making YouTube videos, I knew that I needed something that was a little bit better. And so I went out and got this Dell XPS 15-inch laptop with just a regular video card, and it had a better screen on it. And so that allowed me to do a little bit more, in my photo editing, in my video editing especially. But I wasn't yet recording in 4K. I definitely wasn't recording in log, so I didn't really do a lot of color editing. And so I didn't really need that so much in this laptop. But as I have moved into becoming a better photo editor, I think it was right around the time that I went to San Francisco and took that photo of the Golden Gate Bridge, I really started to pay attention to my photo editing, especially as you get into, color. And at the time, I was using a monitor by LG. It was just a really cheap monitor. It wasn't anything special. And the thing that I was finding out is that I could never get the screen on the LG to match the colors of the screen on my Dell XPS 17. And so what I would do is I would just, have that monitor connected to the laptop, and then I would, do all of my coloring and editing on the laptop, and then not use the monitor for anything except like regular, desk work. And this presented a problem because I really wanted to start dialing in my colors, which brings me to the 5K monitor. All right, so let's get into this VIEWFINITY S9. And before I do that, I do want to say that this video isn't sponsored in any way. I bought this monitor with my own money. I bought this monitor with my own money. I buy everything with my own money. And remember, I'm not trying to sell you guys on anything, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So this is the Samsung VIEWFINITY S9, and the important thing to me is one, it's 27 inches and it's 16 by 9, which makes it great for editing photos and editing video on. It's a 5K monitor. That was really important to me. So it's got 5120 by 2880 resolution, and it's 60 hertz. I'm not a gamer, so I don't need anything more than that. And it's got a contrast ratio of 1000 to 1, which means that, your highlights are going to be highlights, your shadows are going to be shadows, blacks are going to be blacks, things like that. But most importantly, and I think this is what's most important to me, it doesn't need to be important to you. I understand that there's a little bit of muddy area when it comes to color space. This monitor is a DCI-3 color space. Now, the standard for a long time has been sRGB. And the reason that has been is because more devices are able to display colors in the sRGB color space. But what you get in the DCP3i, DCI-P3 color spaces, you get 25% more colors. Now, what does that mean, realistically? If you look over here, this is pink, right? This is pink, but this is also pink. And because you get that 25% more color space, you're able to see the different hues and saturations within this pink, because that's important, because our eyes can see those different hues, especially, when there's different lights and things that hit it. This is a red sweater, but if I aim an orange light on it or a blue light on it, this red changes, different saturations. And so why is that important? Well, it becomes important because it's a baseline for me. A lot of people will say like, oh, you can't really see the difference. No one's gonna know if you edit it, in DCI-P3 or sRGB, and that's true. I won't argue that. No one's gonna look on their, cell phone and say like, oh, I can tell that this was done on a 5K monitor. But where it becomes important is from how I view my work. I want it to look the way that I view it. And it becomes important, especially in my photos. Printing photos is really expensive, and so if I can get my colors right the first time and not have to reprint, that's really important to me. Secondly, it's a baseline. I know that my work is gonna look the way that I want it to look. And so that color space becomes really important to me when I am editing my photos, especially the resolution, especially with photos, and then video, the color becomes really important to me. So that's why I went out and I got this monitor. So let's talk about the build of this monitor, because I think that's where, that's where I'll do a little bit of comparison with the Apple Studio display. One thing that you guys will hear is that the way that the Apple Studio display is built, with metal, and it's really, built magnificently and whatever. These monitors are the same price, $16.99 or $15.99. They're really expensive 5K monitors. And for all intent and purposes, the thing that's important, the screen, dead even, right? Dead even. And so you get the same specs, especially when it comes to the screen. And I know that a lot of people use, studios and Apple laptops and things like that. But here's where I think, if you're a person who's in the market for a 5K monitor, here's where I think you should really think about the Samsung monitor over the Apple monitor. One, this screen is matted, so you can see that even though my key light is kind of shining right at it, there's not a lot of glare on this screen. That's a $400 upcharge if you want that same thing from Apple. So just to have a matte display from Apple, that's $400 upcharge. Secondly, this stand that it comes on is an adjustable stand. And it came in the box with the monitor. And that stand, just to have that stand, just to be able to have that height adjustable stand from Apple is another $400. So we're talking about a difference between $800 right out of the box, right? Just to have the equivalent to this. Now, this is mostly built with plastic. The base on here is metal, but this is plastic. The encasing is plastic. It is, I'm not gonna argue that the Apple display is built better. I won't even deny that. But already with a matte screen and an adjustable height, that's $800. I just so happened to get this screen during like the Christmas season or whatever, and so it was $600 off. So I only paid $999 for the screen at the time. So the difference between this monitor right now that's sitting on my desk that I paid for with my own money, this 5K monitor, and the studio display that essentially does the same thing, gives you the same specs, gives you the same viewing experience, same experience. I saved $1,400. I could buy right now another monitor with the savings that I have with buying this monitor. And if you are in the market for a 5K monitor, right now Samsung has a deal going on where it's $400 off. So you can get it right now for $11.99. When you talk about value, it's unbeatable. Also, there's smaller bezels on this screen. I don't know if bezels are important to you, but this 27-inch screen has really slim bezels. It comes with a detachable webcam, so I think that that's really cool. And also, I don't know if I can show you, but this also can be switched over into landscape mode, which would become really important, you know, for editing photos. The only downside is that you do have to go into the settings and switch it to portrait mode, because this screen does not have a gyroscope. The Apple monitor does have a gyroscope, so when you do that in the Apple monitor, it will, you know, reorient itself automatically. Is that $1,200 better? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But if you are in the market for a 5K monitor, there's a lot of reasons to go with the Samsung. Even if you are a Apple user, I think that there's a couple of functions that you can do with the Apple monitor if you are an Apple user that you can't do. But I think it is more of like Apple ecosphere kind of stuff. And so I would understand when people would come and say like, oh, but you can do this. But right now you can save $1,200 between this screen and an Apple screen, based on having an adjustable stand, a matte screen, and with the savings that you would get from Samsung. All right, let's wrap this video up. All right, so that is the entire video. 5K monitor, Samsung VIEWFINITY S9. It's really important to me that I get my colors right in my videos and my photos. And yeah, so that's it. And I think that it is a better value than the Apple Studio display. Some people might ask, this is actually not the same as that one. This is actually the Samsung Smart Monitor M8. Pretty cool monitor, way cheaper, and but not 5K. And so there's a couple of differences between those two monitors. If you guys want to know more about this monitor, let me know. I think this comes in at around like $500 probably at this point. Also a great monitor, but not 5K. Yeah. Also, if you got to this point, and you want to know more, you want more information, the Art of Photography did a video on this monitor, the Samsung S9 monitor, but it was a sponsored video, so a lot of people just kind of like chalked it up as such. But if you want to check out that video, there's way more information. It's a better video, and it's from a person that I trust. So if you trust me, I trust that person. Go and watch that video, The Art of Photography. But that's it in this video. If you made it this far, give me a hell yeah. And if you guys have any questions about this monitor, I'll answer them down in the comments. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I bought a GoPro. We'll talk about that. All right, peace.